Good day, wherever you are watching. This is Pjoe, and this is another episode of Wisdom Series. So today I want to teach you something very, very important. I want you to learn wisdom from the life of David. I want you to follow me carefully on this. Is that okay? This is Wisdom Series, so we're here for wisdom from God to navigate lives and our spiritual life and growth. There's something that happened in the life of David that I saw, and it amazed me, and it gave me or pushed me to a point where I start questioning, how do David think? How does he reason? What goes on in his mind when he makes those decisions that I do make? So, but there's one I want us to look at today, and that is when Saul wanted to kill him. Saul was pursuing him to kill him, and he had opportunity twice to kill Saul, but he didn't. Then this passage I want us to read now show the reason why he didn't. Because there are some times that you have opportunity to do something, but if you do it, you're going to live in regret. It can give you a momentary glamour, but at the end of the day, it's going to leave you in regret. You're going to see that you've soiled your hand in something you shouldn't have. There are some times you have opportunity to do something, but if you have this understanding of what I want to teach you today now, you will see that it's better for you not to do it and wait for God to do it for you. That one is more rewarding. You have the opportunity to do this. There's sometimes you have opportunity to just change a figure at your company to get more money. But if you have understanding of what I want to teach you today now, it's going to help you to not to do it and wait for God to bless you by himself. But follow me carefully. Let's read, because of our time, 1 Samuel 26. You know the story. And let's start reading from verse 8. I want us to read from verse 8. At this point, Saul was pursuing David, and so he encamped at a place close to where David was. And then they slept. Then at night, David went into where Saul was, sneaked out, passed through Abner, that is the chief security officer of Saul. Abner was long gone that they entered into where Saul was. But he went with one of his very strong guy called Abishai. Abishai is one of his right-hand man. He can fight. By his statement here, you see that this is one of his strongest that David had. So read verse 8, 1 Samuel 26, verse 8. We read just 2 verses. Then said Abishai to David, that was when they met Saul sleeping. He said, God hath delivered thy enemy into thy hand this day. Now therefore, let me smite him, I pray thee, with the spear, even to the head at once, and I will not smite him twice. This guy was saying that, David, just give me this opportunity. God has delivered Saul into your hand, and I'm going to smite him. He said, just once, I will not miss. Because you can do it. There's no gun then. You know, these days now, gun is the only thing that can kill you once. If they target your heart and shoot it, pa! There are some silent pistols that they shoot it, pa! They will just hear the person say, hey! That any real law. But this guy doesn't have something like that. But with his spear in his hand, he said, I will smite him once. I will not do it twice. But hear what David said. And David said unto Abishai, destroy him not, for who can stretch forth his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless? My God. Now the Lord anointed that he's talking about here is already backsliding. He's already on his own. He's already disobeying God. He's already doing things that are contrary to the laid down principle of God. As a matter of fact, as at this time, God has stopped talking to him. And he's just doing his own. Even Samuel has withdrawn from him. But because of the oil that Samuel poured on Saul, and God said, this is the one to be the king over Israel. David recognized that. He recognized that this is the Lord's anointed, and no one should stretch forth his hand to the Lord's anointed. Because if you do it, you can't go scot-free. You can't be guiltless. See how another translation put it. Was it Samuel? Yes. Samuel, 1 Samuel 26:9. Let's read it. It's in Amplify. I'll read it in Amplify and read it in Message. He said, David said to Abishai, do not destroy him, for who can raise his hand against the Lord's anointed and guiltless? Message says, but David said to Abishai, do not dare hurt him, who could lay a hand on God's anointed and even think of getting away with it. That was powerful. Message always have a message. He said, who can lay his hand on God's anointed and even think of getting away with it? See, if David have killed Saul there, yes, he's going to become king, but he has put his hand where he's not supposed to put his hand. The blood of Saul will be requested from David's hand. So there's a way you can't judge people. You can't judge God's anointed. There's a way you can't talk to them. Why? Not because of what they have done is right or wrong, but because they are God's anointed. The sacredness of God is around them. You can't just talk to them anyhow. You can't just do the way you like to them. You can't just say anything. And I'm saying this because in this our generation, I've seen different people just rise and just speak against a man of God and say they want to correct him, they want to correct the fathers. Be careful. Be careful. There's no one that can talk against the anointed of God and go scot-free. You can't be guiltless. You can't be guiltless. I saw one. Yeah, there's one that happened. The man of God said something about prosperity and poverty, and I don't want to go into it. But I saw one man of God on a Sunday morning. He just called, he said, they call this guy a father of faith, and was showing scripture. God is not against the poor, this and this and that. What the person proved might be correct. The one that amazes me was the one I saw. Just, it was obvious that the guy is just trying to start a ministry. He just started the ministry, and the people he's pastoring, they were still inside his sitting room. I'm not sure they're up to 10 in that place. And they already put screen in front of him and was teaching, preaching. Then he started talking against fathers. And he's saying, I heard this pastor said it. That is nonsense. According to scripture, let's correct this. Don't jeopardize your destiny because you want to correct fathers. Even though they have mistakes and they have some things they are not getting right and some things that are done well, say don't correct them. Don't even be the one that is bold enough to correct God's anointed. Why? Because you are still going to receive from them. You have a lot to receive from them. Most of them, they are the latter end of their ministry. They've spanned different generations, different phases. I wrote something down here that stop correcting fathers. You are just starting. You started criticizing them. They've stayed 20 years, 40 years, some 50, 60 years. And they are still relevant. You just started ministry 2 years ago. I said for the sake of revelation, you need stamina, you need wisdom to navigate tough life in ministry. And you need to get it from them. How they've done it and they've stayed relevant till now. Even when it comes to normal human being, there is not even God's anointed. In Galatians 6, Paul says something now. Galatians 6:1. Brethren, if any man be overtaken in a fault, any man, whether fathers, whether young ministers, whether colleague, any man, whether your member, whether any man, be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou be tempted. Let me read in Amplified Message. It said, brethren, if any person is overtaken in misconduct or sin of any sort, you who are spiritual, who are responsive to and controlled by the Spirit, should set him right and restore and reinstate him without any sense of superiority and with all gentleness, keeping an attentive eyes on yourself, lest you should be tempted also. Let me read Message version. It said, live creatively, friends. If someone falls into a sin or maybe misconduct, it said, forgivingly restore him, meaning that you can't even restore someone, you can't even correct correctly or accurately if first you have not forgiven the person before you start correction, or you are not spiritual. You need to be spirit filled. You need to do it by the Spirit, and nobody that is controlled by the Spirit called Jesus a curse. Nobody that is under the leadership of God, the influence of the Spirit, correct fathers and just talk anyhow. There is a spirit in us that refrain us to say some certain things. The same way there's a spirit in David that refrained him from killing Saul when he had the advantage of doing it. He said, forgivingly restore him. He said, saving your critical moments for yourself, for you might be needing forgiveness before the day goes out. He said you are doing it critically because you yourself, you might find yourself, you don't know what will happen in your own later end of ministry. So I want to say this, don't correct fathers. It's not, you are not in the position to correct them. Let God correct them. I know many people say because of the young ones, and yes, teach your own people, just teach them. Don't do it from the standpoint of correction. Teach your own people what is right and let God help them. I believe you've learned something. This is Wisdom Series with Pjoe. See you next time.